Yeah, I'm going to okay, muted all of Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavirjam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayinim Ambatva-manusandadhami Bhagavad-gite Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sangapada-kramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti yam yoginah yasyantam na vidusura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha devaya tasmai namaha. Yeah, Sri Vidya.
Camera is low.
We can't see you. Yeah. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Maya Saktamanah Partha
Maya Shaktamanah Partha
Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah
Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah
Asamshayam Samagram Mam
Asamshayam Samagram Mam
Yatha Jnasyasi Tachrunu
Yatha Jnasyasi Tachrunu
Jnanam Teham Savijnanam
Jnanam Teham Savijnanam
Idam Vakshyamya Sheshataha
Idam Vakshyam Aseshataha
Yajñatva Neha Bhuyonyat
Yajñatva Neha Bhuyonyat
Jnatavyamama Shishyate
Jnatavyamavasishyate
Manushyanam Sahasreshu
Manushyanam Sahasreshu
Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye
Kaschidyatati Siddhaye
Yatataamapi Siddhanam
Yatatamapi Siddhanam
Kaschinmam Vetti Tatvataha
Kaschinmam Vetti Tattvataha
Bhumirapo Nalo Vayuhu
Bhumirapo Nalo Vayuhu
Kham Mano Buddhirevacha
Khammano Buddhirevacha
Ahankara iti yamme
Ahankarayiti yamme
Bhinna Prakritirashtadha
भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा
अपरेयमितस्त्वन्याम्
अपरेयमितस्त्वन्याम्
प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे पराम्
प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे पराम्
जीवभूतां महाबाहो
जीवभूतां महाबाहो
ययेदं धार्यते जगत्
ययेदं धार्यते जगत्।
So we have started discussing about Ishvaraha. Krishna talking about himself, but not himself as in the avatar Purusha Krishna, but as Ishvaraha. It's very important. The difference is important. Knowing when to look at the statement as being talked about as Krishna, the person Krishna, that I know, that I see as a person who has a human being, the body of a human being, that person Krishna, or Krishna is talking as Bhagavan Ishvara. Well, these are two different things. Now I think we are coming to recognize that they're two different things, right? As Krishna Avatara, then there he has a birth, date of birth, and history, and all that is there. Janmashtami is there. All this we celebrate. That is Sri Krishna, Mr. Krishna. But here in the 7th chapter, Krishna is talking as Ishvaraha, Jagat Karanam, Ishvaraha. So we are beginning to understand this. And Krishna was talking about Srishti, creation. Creation. How did this world get created? You see, you go and tell somebody, what do you study? I'm studying Bhagavad Gita. And now we are studying cosmology. Suppose you say. Suppose you tell somebody. What will they say? First of all, I have a problem with you studying Bhagavad Gita. Second, you are saying using big words like cosmology. We don't even know how to spell the word cosmology. And you're saying you're studying cosmology. So something has to be wrong with you, because you ought to be making money right now. You shouldn't be doing all this. You should be wasting time in all these things. And what is something that happened so many years ago, some creation happened and Big Bang and all. What has that got to do with my problems here? Huh? I don't see any connection at all. See, suppose we say a partition of India happened in 1947. Pakistan got created. Okay, partition. What has that got to do with my immediate problems right now in Coimbatore? Okay, what is the connection? There's no connection. The immediate problems I'm facing, I have to solve right now here. There's no connection to Mahatma Gandhi and Jinnah and all that. Even though some people can draw some connections. Okay, we'll keep that aside. No connection. Suppose somebody says Saraswati River. There was a river. Today in India, there is no river called Saraswati flowing. Okay. Gange cha Yamune cha eva Godavari Saraswati. So Ganga we know where she is, and Yamuna we know where she is, flowing through Delhi, etc. Godavari, yeah, Andhra, etc. She is flowing. Saraswati. Saraswati is missing. But the shloka is saying Saraswati. The Vedas keep referring to Saraswati. That means the river Saraswati was flowing. And then they say that it was flowing from the Himalayas. It was flowing westward, to into what is today Pakistan. And then there were some land movements, and the river got submerged, and river started flowing underneath. How do you know it's flowing underneath? Well, because on top you can see trees. In a line there are trees. Hey, what is this? There's no forest, but in a line there are trees. That means there was water underneath. Look at how beautiful all this is. Suppose somebody says that Saraswati, we are trying to study the everything about that river Saraswati. What is the connection between that and me? No connection. Suppose somebody says, all these continents that you know of today, 7 continents, they were all together and then slowly they started splitting like this, separating, separating, separating. For millions and millions of years, they separated, separated, separated. And now you say there is Asia, there is Africa, there is South America, there is North America, Antarctica, Arctic Ocean, etc. You say. Suppose somebody says, this is how the earth was reshaping itself. No connection at all. No connection between that and who I am today. I am struggling. I have all my problems here that I have to deal with, and so this problem and that, no connection. And so now you are talking about some creation long ago and Avyaktam, Bijam, Maya, and Atma and all that. What is the connection between all that? This, no connection, correct? Or is there a connection? This is the question. So, this is the beauty of our Shastra, Advaita Vedanta, especially because the minute somebody says Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, you are that Ishvara, you are that Jagat Karanam Ishvara, if you say, then we have to get into all these things, correct? That Ishvara is you essentially, if they say, and the entire world is also that same Ishvara and that same you, the Atma, then we have to sit and study this. We can't ignore it. How can I be the whole? Is it possible? Is it possible? That question comes. Therefore, this study is not cosmology. This study is Shastram. This is sacred. Sacred, correct? Suddenly it becomes sacred. And it is life or death for us. For us, it is connected with moksha. Correct? And that's why we don't call this philosophy. Okay? In the West, they call it philosophy, etc. So, because, and that is secular. You ask the fellow, when you study your philosophy, do you get liberated? And what? What is the connection between liberation? Liberation, Jesus and all that is there, but there's no connection between this and that. Okay, therefore it's called philosophy. Fine. Speculative and nothing connected with the self, really speaking, even though the study is about the self, but no moksha and all that. But here, same self and creation, but Ishvara. There it is secular, they say. For us, it is not secular. Ishvara is involved. And in fact, everything, Ishvara is involved everywhere. Therefore, there's really nothing secular in our worldview, in our vision, there is nothing secular. Because Bhagavan, everything is Bhagavan. Therefore, so there it is secular. And here it is sacred, very sacred. Daivam, this is all Daivam. And everything that has to do with myself and Ishvara, myself, Ishvara. And so huge difference between what's being said. Therefore, when I say, therefore it can't be abstract. Oh, it's all very abstract. Okay. It may appear abstract initially. Some words are all being used, etc. But if I ask you, are you abstract? Are you abstract if somebody asks? Can you accept that statement? No, I am not abstract. Come on, I am the most concrete thing in this world. I exist. And then everything else is only available to me. Everything else becomes evident to me. I am that consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is not abstract. It's very real. And therefore, this study becomes very sacred. And Karanam, etc. Only in our Dharma, you have this people studying about Ishvara, studying about the self, and therefore the cause of the world, therefore the effect and cause effect, Karana Karya. And then that which is not subject to Karanam or Karyam, that which is neither cause nor effect, that is Brahma, that is Atma. Okay. Only through Karanam and Karyam you can go to Akaranam and Akaryam. Because Karanam and Karyam is all we know. Cause and effect is all we know. And then from through that we have to study. So this is the approach. This is how we have to approach our Shastra. Once we approach it like that, then even though it may take a little time to understand some of the technicalities, it's very fulfilling. Very fulfilling. I'm not studying to get a degree. I'm not studying to get an award. I'm not studying to pass some exams. I am studying because this is me. The study is about myself and it's Atma. And if Atma is not known, I'm constantly bound. Telisite mokshamo teliyakunda bandham. Telugu, the song keeps coming back to me all the time. I don't know why. So telisite mokshamo means if you know, then you got moksha. Teliyakunna bandham. If you don't know, then transmigration, bandhamo. And therefore, this study becomes very, very enjoyable for me. Something I didn't understand. Okay, I understand. I'll understand it. Eventually, I'll understand. That becomes my attitude. I'm not going to worry myself if I did not understand a particular aspect. And so that's the approach I wanted to. I was thinking about it yesterday. How to start today's class? Like that, I was thinking. I do spend some time preparing. Don't think I just come and just say whatever I want. No, I'm not Swamiji. Okay, Swamiji would do that. He will just come and he will go all over the world and then come and sit in class and talk. And he used to advise us, don't use me as a role model when giving lectures. I have to agree with that. And so I thought I will put it this way, that attitude is so important. And we're not studying cosmology, although cosmology is a study of creation, because our study is creation not for the sake of getting a degree to study about creation. This is creation which has everything to do with me. That is why so sacred it is. And so we saw, just to recap some of what we did last class. Prakriti, the word Prakriti is being used, and he talked about two types of Prakriti. Okay, and he says the world has got created, and Atma is Ajaha, unborn. Atma is Sarvavyapi. Atma is Avinashi, and all this I've already told you before. But anything that is changing, I see a lot of things that are changing. The whole world is changing also. Atma is Ajaha, unborn, but then Anatma is born. Right? Everything that is born is Anatma. Anatma is not Ajaha, it is Jaha. That is why the world is called Jagat. Okay? Jayate Gachati iti Jagat. That which is born and keeps changing is Jagat, is the world, is the universe, keeps changing. Scientists say expanding space. Even space, they say it is expanding. That means space also is Anatma, correct? Anything that changes is Anatma. So, with so much change happening and so much that's going on, we have to understand fundamentally what this change is, what this Anatma is, and what this creation is. Srishti will come into picture. And so, Bhagavan Krishna was talking about Swabhava Prakriti and Swarupa Prakriti, or Apara Prakriti and Para Prakriti. Okay. So the changing aspect is all part of this Apara Prakriti. All the changes attributed to Apara Prakriti, Maya, Avyaktam. I introduced these words in the last class. So far, we didn't talk much about Maya except in the first chapter. Fourth chapter, what did he say? Ajo pisannavya yatma. bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swamadhishtaya. There also the word prakriti came. Prakritim swamadhishtaya sambhavamyatma mayaya. So that change, Maya, Maya is responsible for change. Avyaktam, apara prakriti. But then Maya herself is sustained by, she has to be sustained by something that is unchanging. If the unchanging is not there, there can't be change also. And that unchanging is the para prakriti, Purushaha, Brahma. Okay. This Brahma, para prakriti plus Maya, Avyaktam, apara prakriti together is called Ishvara. Therefore, what is Ishvara? Brahman plus Maya is equal to Ishvara. Okay, that is the way to understand. So when Ishvara is looked upon as a creator, then Maya has to be there. Without Maya, he can't create. He can't create means what? Brahma can't create. Brahma is, as we said, it's just it is, and it can't create. So para prakriti, and that's a way to understand our Srishti, our Ishvara. Brahma plus Maya is Ishvara. So Maya Sahita Brahma Ishvara. Like that it is said in Sanskrit. Okay. Okay. So we saw all this in the last class. And we will continue to see it. So it's not this chapter is all about this. So we'll keep referring to it all the time. And we saw in we also mentioned, let me mention it. There's Upadana Karanam and Nimitta Karanam. We know these two, right? A creator is needed, an intelligent being. Nimitta Karanam is needed for every creation. And then the Upadana Karanam, the material is also needed for every creation. Okay, this much we've been talking about. We know that. But last time I split that Upadana Karanam into two types of Upadana Karanam. Okay. So I'm going slow and just reviewing this because it's maybe new to a lot of people. And what did we say? We said there are two kinds of material causes, and one is a material that transforms itself to become the product. Okay, transforms itself to become the product, and you take a cell phone like this, and it's a product, it's a karyam, and a lot of things have gone into this cell phone. If you ask me, the material that was used to make this cell phone, did it change to become the cell phone or did it not change to become the cell phone? That is a question. We'll come to this question later, okay? Maybe a slightly difficult question. Easier question is, did the clay or did the gold change to become the ornament? Answer is pretty simple. The gold did not change to become the ornament. Just the gold is melted and shaped into a particular form, which I call bangle, which I call necklace, etc., ring, and so forth. And how do I know? Further proof is there. Yeah, if you are tired of the ring, you go and give the ring and say, this marriage ring has served its purpose. Now I need something better. Or the marriage is over. Marriage is over. Now, what is use of the marriage ring? You want to keep reminding yourself of that person or what? No, it's over. It's gone. I'd rather use it for something else. I'll use it for the fifth marriage. Okay, something like that. You can think. Okay, but so we know very well. Therefore, that gold is an upadana karanam, but it is not parinami upadana karanam. It is vivarta upadana karanam. Vivartam. Vivartam means a material cause that does not change when it becomes the product. that does not change when it becomes the product. It remains as it is. As it is. Then what is parinami upadana karanam? Something that changes. Like milk becoming yogurt, milk becoming curds. Very good example. We use it all the time. And we can give other examples too. That's why I asked the example. What about wood becoming chair? Is that vivarta upadana karanam or parinami upadana karanam, if I ask? Then we can say it looks pretty close to vivarta upadana karanam because it's all pure wood and you can even unscrew it and make something else with it and possibly, and so the wood continues to remain. Assuming it doesn't spoil and all. It's solid wood. Okay. So it seems like vivarta upadana karanam. And like this book, the wood has become a book. Okay, this is the book. So then what happened? Let's say everything is just wood, pure wood. Okay, some print and all is there, but leave that aside for now. Is this vivarta upadana karanam? Is the wood that went to making this book, is it vivarta upadana karanam or parinami upadana karanam? If you say, okay, so now we are getting into some issues and it seems vivartam because I can now dissolve the whole thing and recycle it and make another book out of it. But at the same time, the quality also will change of that paper. They say good quality plastic is used and then that is used to make some park benches and all that. So because the quality of the plastic reduces as you keep recycling it, processing it, like that here also, paper also. And newspaper, they say recycle newspaper. Everywhere they do. They recycle newspaper, paper, all kinds of paper. So since it is recyclable, it means it is vivartam. But since the quality is not the same, it is parinami. So it is both, it appears like it is somewhere in between. Correct? Parinami. Okay. This is why. Why did we separate upadana karanam into vivartam and parinami? If you ask, then we have to say that Bhagavan is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam, or rather, Brahma is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. Means what? Creation. Remember, how did the creation happen? Well, Bhagavan is there. Consciousness is. And Bhagavan, did he have to go somewhere to borrow? Go to the neighbor and borrow the material to create? Answer has to be no. That cannot be possible because there is no neighbor yet and there is no material. Can't go and borrow. This is not borrowing creation. This is not like our graduate school days when we used to, the first time we used to start cooking and all these bachelors, 4 or 5 bachelors living in an apartment and food time comes, means there's a big problem. A major chaos will be there because that's when the stress levels will be high. All studies, PhD and all we can get, but don't make me cook. Okay, cooking is where the problem starts. And so we used to run around and go, neighbor, come on, give me some turmeric and give me some mustard seeds and all that. So we used to borrow. So that kind of borrowing Bhagavan cannot do. And so therefore that nimitta karanam, that creator, that intelligent being nimitta karanam has to be the upadana karanam also. Like the spider example, etc. We gave some examples. Like our own dream, I am the nimitta karanam of my dream. I am the upadana karanam of my dream. Swami would say, Swami Parvidyananda says, the other day also he was saying, he said, a person who has no dreams cannot understand Vedanta. So therefore, dreams have a purpose. So if somebody says, oh, I'm dreaming a lot, and I'll say, okay, that's good. That means you are qualified to study Vedanta. You already have a qualification. Great. So, so that abhinna nimitta upadana karanam is there. But then there is also material cause that changes. Therefore, we have to divide that upadana karanam material cause into 2 types. Vivarta upadana karanam, going with Brahma, and parinami upadana karanam, going with Maya. avyaktam, because that change is constant and change is to be explained, and Maya explains change. Avyaktam explains change. Apara Prakriti explains change. Okay.
Jaykumarji, isn't it Vyaktam that explains change? Vyaktam,
So,
right?
yeah, change is avyaktam to vyaktam is change, and avyaktam is Maya. Maya is called avyaktam also. So Maya explains change. Apara Prakriti explains change. Avyaktam is a name for Maya, name for Apara Prakriti.
Isn't Avyaktam unmanifest?
Yeah, unmanifest. Unmanifest is about to become manifest. Therefore, Avyaktam is a cause for manifestation. Maya is a cause for manifestation. Okay. So Avyaktam is the word used, is an alternate word for Maya. Alternate word that Krishna uses here is Apara Prakriti. Okay. And this is where he's talking about Bhumirapo Nalo Vayuhu, etc. He's giving a model, in which he said that Apara Prakriti. So what is there in the beginning? In the beginning there was word. Yeah, okay. But in the creation model we say Para Prakriti is there, Apara Prakriti is there. Both are Anadi, therefore both are always there. But both means one is Satyam, one is Mithya. Therefore, really there is no both. Correct? Okay, good. We understand that. Not two separate things. Okay. Then what happens? Then Apara Prakriti can change any time, and unmanifest can become manifest any time. And so, Nimitta Karanam is there, Upadana Karanam is there, and then so manifestation happens. How does it happen? This model is there. Krishna is giving the Ashtada Prakriti model. Okay. So Bhumihi, Apa, all this we've seen before. And then the catch here is three words. Why Krishna introduces these three words, which don't mean what we think it means, is a thing here. The Manaha, Buddhi, and Ahankara. Nowhere else the meaning is different. Only here the meaning is different. So borrowed from Sankhya, Manaha, we said, Shankara says Manaha is Ahankara, and that Ahankara is not the Ahankara you are thinking again. It is Ahankara of Sankhya. Okay. And this Buddhi is Mahat. The Mahat of Advaita Vedanta is Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is also, what is Hiranyagarbha? Sukshma Shariram is there. What is Sukshma Shariram? See, every question there is an answer, and for every answer we have to ask another question, and then we keep on answering. So what is Sukshma Shariram? Subtle body. What is subtle body? Pancha, Jnanendriyani, 5 sense organs. Sense organs are subtle. Sense organ means that vision, not the eyeball. Eyeball is not Sukshma Shariram. Eyeball is the physical aspect which contains that Sukshma, that subtle aspect of sight. Okay. So, Pancha Jnanendriyani, Pancha Karmendriyani, 5 organs of actions, mean the capacity of the legs to run, that is the Karmendriya. The leg itself is not a Karmendriya, even though we keep saying Karmendriya means legs, Pada, etc. Okay. Then, Pancha Pranadayaha. So, the 5 pranas, Prana, Apana, digestion. So, all this physiological system, which is not visible to the naked eye, but it's functioning, very much functioning. Pancha Pranayadaha, Adayaha, Manaha, and Buddhi. This is Sukshma Sharira. Okay. So in this body, I can recognize Sukshma Sharira, correct? Because it is all referring to this body only. Now, this body, Sukshma Sharira. That body, Sukshma Sharira. Another body, Sukshma Sharira is there. And is the physiological system of that person different from the physiological system of this person? No. No. That is why the doctor who gets a degree in India can go to Thailand and be a doctor, can fly in a plane somewhere on top of Afghanistan, and still somebody says, is there a doctor on board? Somebody can say, yes, I am a doctor. Are you an Indian doctor or US doctor? Nobody will ask like that. Okay, doctor means doctor. That's it. Over. And so he has some pain. Please help her. Why? Because it is the same system all over all human beings. The science is the same. Trying to figure out what the person requires a lot of knowledge. Of course, that's where the doctor becomes a real doctor. And therefore, if everything is same, we say this sukshma that I appreciate in this body is vyashti. Vyashti means localized into this body, versus what about samashti? All sukshma shariras put together. That one science that you call medicine, the one science which is ophthalmology, refers to all eyes, all human beings. That is called samashti. Technical words, you may want to note it down. Samashti. Samashti means the whole. Macro. Vyashti means micro. If we can use that word. Micro, macro. So why did I say all this? This mahat. Shankara says buddhi is mahat. And mahat in Kathopanishad also this word comes. And that mahat is, Shankara says, is hiranya garbha. And hiranya garbha is samashti sukshma shariram. Buddhi, not the buddhi that I think it is. Mahat. Mahat means hiranya garbha. Hiranya garbha is samashti sukshma shariram. Sukshma shariram, you know, and samashti, you know. Okay. This is Advaita Vedanta. But Sankhya, what I said is not true with Sankhya. This shloka is referring to Sankhya, Buddhi, and Sankhya Mahat, which I don't know actually what it is. It's not Hiranya Garbha, I can say. You know why? Because if you look at this shloka, it is starting from Ahankara, which is Avyaktam, unmanifest, and then it is going to Buddhi, which is Mahat. Keep Mahat as Mahat for now. And then Manaha, which Shankara says is Ahankara. And then Akashaha, only then Akasha has come. Then only Vayu is coming, then Agni, Analaha is coming, then only Apaha and Prithvi. Correct? So there is an order from Ahankara to Prithvi. Agreed or not? Each is a cause for its previous word. Each word is a cause for the previous word. Like that we saw. Therefore, only when Prithvi comes, the entire Shukshma is created, because these are all Shukshma elements, right? Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi are all Shukshma elements, subtle elements. There is subtle Prithvi, there is Sukshma Prithvi, there is Sthula Prithvi also, right? There is Sukshma, subtle Panchabhuta, and then there is Sthula, gross Panchabhuta, both are there. But first subtle is formed, then only gross is formed, correct? Panchi Karanam it is called, we studied in Tattvabodha. First subtle elements are formed, and then Sukshma Bhuta, Srishti. Then from Sukshma Bhuta we go to Sthula Bhuta, which is gross, the gross body, the gross water and liquid that you see, which you can see with your eyes, the gross fire, heat that you can feel, that is gross. But then Krishna says, and Shankara says, Bhinna, Krishna says, Bhinna Prakritihi Ashtada, different, 8 different elements. And because the word different is used, each element is unique by itself. Bhumihi, Apaha is unique. And we know that in the process of grossification, in the process of the Shukshma becoming Sthula, the model has what is called Panchikaranam. And in that Panchikaranam model, what happens? Akasha Tattvam is there, and Akasha, take 1/2 of Akasha, and then take that 1/2 and divide that 1/2 into 4, and then 1/4 of each of that half Akasha, give it to Vayu, Agni, Apaha, and Prithvi. Everybody following me? Yes or no? 2 days ago, somebody sent me a note.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Jaykumarji, my head is spinning. This Shashti Vibhakti, there are so many types of Shashti Vibhakti, I said. I told her, my head is not spinning because of that 6 thing you list, I know only 2. Therefore, I am happy and my head is not spinning. This is the response I gave her, Radhika. So anyway, Panchikaranam. How the subtle becomes gross. That's what I was explaining. You don't need to know all the details. But the point is, there is these subtle elements keep mixing with each other to become gross. And Shankara says, because Krishna used the word bhinna, separate, this Prithvi cannot be gross. This Akasha cannot be gross Akasha, because gross Akasha will have parts of Vayu, parts of Agni, parts of Apaha, parts of Prithvi in gross Akasha. Subtle Akasha is pure. It is pure Akasha. And therefore, all these elements Krishna is referring to as subtle, like that. In one word, Bhashikara explains. He says, did I write it down somewhere? Book. Yeah, since I said it, let me read it. Right. No, I had it in mind, so I was wondering why it went. Okay. So Bhumihi iti Prithvi tanmatram uchyate na sthula. Prithvi na sthula. It is not gross. It is not sthulam. Why? Bhinna prakriti rashtada iti vachanat. Okay. Amazing. So, yes, I hope you understood. So, if you didn't, don't worry. You're not lost anything. And only for people who get into some details, we have to, we scratch our heads on these things. But subtle is pure. Tan matram, it's called. He uses the word tan matram. Tan matram means what? That alone. Adve. That alone. Tan matram. So these are all tan matras, he says, and that is because Krishna says it is bhinna, all separate. If gross, if you say gross akasha is not pure in the sense it has all these 5 panchabhutas, pancha shukshma bhutas. That is the idea. Anyway. Okay, so vibhinna prakriti rashtada. Okay, these things we studied last time. What time is it? Okay, we got a few minutes left. And we saw the next shloka also. So apara iyam, iyam apara. So that first sentence we saw. What I told you, bhumirapo etc. is called apara prakriti. And then, but then there is another prakriti that you must know, and that is called para prakriti. Okay, and we also saw that is jiva bhuta. That prakriti is also of the nature of the jiva. Jiva's essential nature is my essential nature, which I call para prakriti. That is what he says here. Yaya idam dharyate jagat, by which this entire jagat is sustained. This is a brilliant statement. And either it is some kind of a poetry, or poetry means what? Poetry means you express the beauty of something and you say, I survive because of you. Suppose somebody says, it's an appreciation of that you, whoever that you is. It could be a tree, it could be a flower, it could be some other person also. My life depends on you. Okay, that's poetry. But here, it's a praise poetry. But here, there's neither praise nor poetry. Correct? It's not a statement of praise. It's not a statement of praise. It's not stuti, and neither it is kavya. So, and that is what we will be understanding. So, by which para prakritihi yaya paraya prakritya idam jagat dharyate. Okay, this jagat world is sustained. Okay, so we'll be covering this again. I mean, I got a message from Maheshji a couple of days ago saying, Could you repeat some of what you said? It was interesting, but it went. He didn't say that, but he went above my head. That is what he must have said. I think. People are polite when they write messages. They don't say, I didn't follow anything you said. They don't want to say that. That would be too insulting. So maybe all of you know how to talk and all that. So I'm very happy
Many of
about
us
that.
are in the same boat, Guruji.
Huh?
Many of us are in the same boat.
So I got the message, and it'll slowly come. Don't worry. And so let's do this. We have not translated these things, is it not? Did we translate shloka number 3?
Yes, Jagmarji.
Yes, 3
4
we
and
did.
5.
Three we did.
3 is done. Okay, let's do 4 now. Okay, I'm going to start. Earth, comma, water, comma, fire, comma, air, comma, space. Comma, mind, comma, intellect. These words are dangerous. Okay, put everything in quotes. Okay, mind, intellect, and indeed the sense of doership. These are literal translations, not the actual meanings. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and indeed the sense of doership, hyphen. This Prakriti of mine is divided in an eightfold way, or thus this Prakriti of mine is divided in an eightfold way. Full stop. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and indeed the sense of doership, hyphen. Thus, this Prakriti of mine is divided in an eightfold way. Thus means in this manner, in this eightfold manner. Okay. Got that? Yeah. Okay. Then number 5. Arjuna, comma, the mighty armed. Exclamation mark. This is my lower Prakriti. Lower within quotation. Whereas, comma, please understand the one other than this. Please understand the one other than this. Please understand the one other than this, comma, my higher Prakriti, my higher Prakriti, within brackets, my very nature, within brackets, my very nature. Comma, which is the essential nature of the individual, Jiva Bhutaha, which is the essential nature of the individual. Which is the essential nature of the individual, comma, by which this world is sustained. Full stop. By which this world is sustained. Okay, let me read that again. Arjuna, comma, the mighty armed, exclamation mark. This is my lower Prakriti. My and Prakriti in parenthesis. Full stop. Whereas, comma, please understand the one other than this, comma, my higher Prakriti, within brackets, my very nature, comma, which is the essential nature of the individual, comma, by which this world is sustained. Full stop. Everybody okay with that? Yeah.
Can you please repeat the previous sloka one more time?
Yeah. Translation of the previous sloka. Earth, comma, water, comma, fire, comma, air, comma, space, comma, mind, comma, intellect, and indeed the sense of doership. You can put mind, intellect, and doership, or sense of doership, in quotes so that you don't take it literally. Hyphen, thus or in this manner, this prakriti of mine is divided in an eightfold way. Thus, this prakriti of mine is divided in an eightfold way. Yeah, unable to
The
see.
prakriti of mine or mind?
Mine, M-I-N-E, mine,
Okay.
belonging to me.
Guruji, in the 5.5, is it mind higher prakriti or mind?
My, M-Y,
Okay.
Mama, Mama para prakriti.
Dhanyavada, Mahodaya.
And that me param, me is mine. There has to be a connection, right, between English language and Sanskrit language. You can see those things here. Okay, anything else? Did I miss anything? Mahichi, you got that?
I got that. And you said in the second sloka, lower prakriti, is that correct?
Sorry, a second. Okay. Yeah, this is my lower prakriti here. Lower within quotes. Any of these words should be put within quotes. Because we should think lower, higher means immediately, height comes into picture. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, Jayakumar, you said that Hiranyagarbha. What does that mean, Hiranyagarbha?
Yeah. So, if you first question you should ask is, do you understand Sukshma Shariram? Yeah.
Okay.
First, we have to understand Sukshma Shariram, subtle body. And one way to appreciate that is our sense organs. We understand sense organs, or we understand the senses. We understand. Okay, sense organ, chod do. Sense organ means the actual physical organ comes into mind. But that which makes these eyeballs actually see, that is Sukshma, correct?
Yeah.
That is subtle. That is subtle. You can't take eyesight from this and put it there. You can only take the eye from a dead person and put it on a live person and hope that this eye start functioning. That hope is because we hope that Sukshma Sharira is there in that eye. Okay? So that is called Sukshma. So this Sukshma in this body, now you add up all Sukshmas in all bodies in the universe. Add up the eyesight, add up the sight, add up the idea of sight, the principle of sight, which is subtle. Add it up, add up all that over all the bodies. It is still the same. Even though you added up billions of jivas, it is still the same principle of eyesight, correct? It doesn't become different. But then the scope is different. The scope there is macro, the scope here is micro. That macro eyesight is called Hiranyagarbha. Got it?
Okay. Now,
So that is a very interesting word, because when we say Hiranyagarbha, suddenly it refers to the entire cosmos. Wherever, and referring to Sukshma, the subtle aspect in the entire cosmos is called Hiranyagarbha.
okay. Now, in the mantra, when we say that Hiranyagarbha Garbhasya,
Okay. Say that mantra again.
Hiranyagarbha Garbhasya Hema Bijam, that, when you give the tambulam.
Vibhava Soho, etc. Yeah.
So, is it different?
I have to look into it.
Okay.
Because the word comes 2 times there. Hiranyagarbha, Garbhasya, Hema Bijam, Vibhava Soho, etc. comes. I have to look into it.
Okay.
So Guruji, Yeah, Hiranyagarbha, then Maya. That's basically what we are saying, right? If it is the collection of all the Sukshma Shariram, then that becomes your Karanam for creation. So that is Maya. Is that?
So yeah, Maya is more fundamental. Maya
Okay.
is Avyakta. And then only comes all the subtle elements, and then only Vyashti, Samashti, etc.
Okay. So
Sukshma
Maya is even
Sharira,
more.
yeah, exactly. Avyakta. Maya is Avyakta. Maya is Anadi. But Sukshma Shariram is not Anadi. Sukshma Shariram is, it can be formed, it can get resolved. The body has Sukshma Shariram, and then afterwards Sukshma Shariram is gone, dead. Body is called dead. So gone. Adi and then Antam. Both are there for this Sukshma Shariram.
Correct.
I mean, in this body at least. But it continues later. Okay. So, but anything other than Maya and Brahma is Adi. Adi Mat has a beginning.
Yes. Okay.
So Jaykumarji, Maya is Avyakta Apara Prakriti and Brahman is Avyakta Para Prakriti, right?
We don't use the word Avyakta for Brahma.
Okay.
We don't use it. And even though Brahma is unmanifest, but then if you say unmanifest, you're attributing a quality to Brahma.
Mm-hmm.
If you say it's unmanifest, then the immediate question is, when will Brahma become manifest? That means, when will Brahma's quality change?
There is no Vyakta part. Okay.
Correct.
Guruji, then Maya is subtler than Sukshma Sharira?
Correct. Good observation.
Jaykumarji,
Yeah.
this Hiranyagarbha is also mentioned in other contexts, like for Brahma. Is it right? Hiranyagarbha.
Yeah. So Hiranyagarbha can have different meanings in different contexts. Okay. So we just like Manaha has different meaning. Every word, depending on context only, the meaning has to be seen. So the Hiranyagarbha I explained is the Hiranyagarbha of Vedanta. Okay. So that's why I think it was it Vijay Sundaram who asked the question? I forgot. So that Hiranyagarbha Garbhasya, that mantra they chant when they give tambulam, etc. And so I will check on that meaning. But yeah, different meanings for the word Hiranyagarbha.
Somewhere it's called golden egg or something like that also, right?
That is called literal translation of the word Hiranyagarbha. Hiranya means Garbha means womb, egg, whatever you want to call it. So golden womb, large golden, cosmic.
It's a
golden
Max Müllerism.
There you go. It's called Max Müllerism. A person who's translating Hiranyagarbha as golden egg, that book can be safely kept aside and used for some other purpose. That is what I would say. It means the person has not understood what we are trying to say by the word Hiranyagarbha.
Jaykumarji,
Yeah.
5.5, the word Vidhi, what does first line? What does Vidhi mean?
Vidhi means janihi, come to know, may you understand. Vidhi, with dhatu, with to know. And vidhi, lot lakara, madhyama purusha ekavachana. Lot. So because it is, no, it's Parasmai Pada only. Vidhi. No, it's Atmani, I think. Vidhi. I need to look into that.
It's Atmani.
Atmani
Yes,
Dana.
it will, for the Parasmai Pada, it will come like Bhavati, Bhavatu, Bhava.
Bhava, it should come. Correct. It's Atmanepadi. Right. Vidhi. Atmanepadi. Right. So we have combined our lecture with the Satsang also. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
So Jaykumarji, is Jiva like Jiva is the localized Brahman, is how we can think of it.
Yeah, pond is localized water. Or pond is localized ocean. That also we can say. So, yeah, something like that. Ghatakashaha. Shasam talks about Ghatakashaha, Patakasha. So Ghata Akasha. The space is there. Space is all pervasive. There is no space. You can't say there is no space. You can't say. So they say this black hole, they say no space is there. It's an interesting idea. They must have borrowed it from us only. Because no space is there means that is when the creation, the creation has not happened. Still everything is unmanifest. And there space also is not there. Time also is not there. Correct? Time and space are part of the creation. Okay. So it has to be created. Like in dream, deep sleep. Deep sleep, nothing is there. Then dream. And dream, you create a dream time. You create a dream space. Correct? That's your dream space, dream time. Dream time, this dream time, they say the dream is 1.5 minutes or something. Is that correct? 1.5 minutes, REM, rapid eye movement. Okay. Just 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, the dream lasts. Okay. Within that period, this fellow grows up and then he goes to school, he gets a degree, he gets married, he has children, and then children get married, and then married, they get, so great grandchildren have come in 1.5 minutes. My God, this fellow's idea, he's a fast mover, I think, he wants to finish it off everything in short time. And so that idea of time is different than our idea of time. So that time is also part of the dream creation. And so this is fascinating. It's not difficult. We should not look at it as difficult. That's why I don't encourage the thought at all. It is difficult means I'm not used to thinking like that. That's why it is difficult. If you are used to think, with young children, they do computers, all day they are on the phone. So they are experts. You give a phone to a child, it won't know anything what to do. But it observes you. Oh, this. Then that's it. Then mom, come on, that's it. I don't need you anymore. Okay, get out of here. Leave. I know how to take care of myself. So after that, the child is on its own. Okay. Yeah, Vaidya, go ahead.
I think I missed this part. You said you should put mind, intellect, and ahankara in quotes. Why is that you were saying to put it in quotes here?
Okay. So did you attend the last class?
No, I missed the last class. That's perhaps why.
Yeah. So mind, this manaha, buddhi, and ahankara is borrowed from Sankhya. Number one. Number two, see, if you look at the list, earth, water, bhumihi, apaha, analaha, then vayuhu, and then only akasha, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
this
correct.
order, it goes from the grossest to the subtler and subtle, becomes subtle.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, akasha, only after akasha to prithvi are created, mind is created. Because sukshma sharira comes only after the panchabhutani are created. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mind is subtle. Sense organs, sukshma are all subtle. I mean, the sense organs are subtle. Okay. Mind is also subtle. So all that mind cannot come before akasha. In this order. In this order, Krishna is listing it as an effect, and then its cause is water, and water's cause is Agni, Agni's cause is Vayu, Vayu's cause is Akasha. Okay. Tasmadva etasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha akashad vayuhu vayoragnihi agnerapah adhyah prithvi. That order is given in Taittiriya Upanishad. Okay. So that is the order in which he's giving here. Each succeeding word is the cause for the preceding word. If you look at it like that, manas cannot be the cause of akasha. Because the manas that you and I know of cannot be the cause of akasha. It has to be after prithvi, not before akasha. Therefore, this word manaha, Shankara says it means ahankara, and ahankara doesn't mean the ahankara you're thinking, which means Ahankara of Sankhya, which is some other thing. Some intermediate thing between Avyakta and Akasha, which is the 22 component model that Sankhya talks about. Okay. Then Buddhihi. Shankara says Tat Mahat. He says, no, this is not the Buddhi you're thinking, it is Mahat Tattvam, he says. Means he thinks we know Sankhya, Sankhya Darshanam. Sankhya Darshanam. Then Ahankara, he thinks we know Ahankara, Sankhya Darshanam, and he says Ahankara is Avyaktam. Shankara says Avyaktam. Okay, let's read that. Now that you asked. Okay. He says, Apaha, Analaha, Vayuh, Kam, Manaha iti Manasaha Karanam Ahankaraha Grihyate. Manaha iti Manaha Kara. He says, Manaha means not mind, it is the cause of the mind called Ahankara, he says. And he doesn't explain what his Ahankara is. Then Buddhihi iti Ahankara Karanam Mahattattvam. And then Ahankaraha iti Avidya Samyuktam Avyaktam. Okay. So where is the question of Ahankara as in the sense of I, the I sense, the ego sometimes it's translated. Where is the connection between I sense and Avyaktam? So Avyaktam is Maya Avyaktam. And that's what he says Ahankara should be understood as. Therefore, I said put everything in quotes. These last three words are all Sankhya, words borrowed from Sankhya. And they mean entirely different things, not what we generally think those words mean. Okay.
Now, why wouldn't you think mind as a cause of space?
Mind is Sukshma Sharira.
Right.
So Sukshma Shariram, and it requires space. Only when space is there, so anything can reside in space.
Got it.
So mind requires space.
Got it. Okay.
Without space, nothing can exist. That's why Akasha is number one.
And here, I guess the translation in English is a problem, right? When we say mind, intellect, sense of doership.
That's why I said put everything in quotes and go back to the notes.
Okay.
Go back to the lecture.
Okay, got it.
Put everything in quotes because 6 months later when you read it, you are going to get
right.
Put it in quotes and say these don't mean mind doesn't mean mind, buddhi doesn't mean buddhi. Write the statement and then ahankara does not mean ahankara. Like that, if you write at least it will be a caution for you. Oh yeah, I think I remember this some class some long ago we did this.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jagmarji, how did you define Mahat again? Can you repeat if you don't mind?
So I am not defining this Mahat. My definition of Mahat is Advaita Vedanta Mahat. Okay. And that Mahat is Hiranya Garbhaha. That's it.
So what is being referred to here is not Hiranyagarbha.
Correct. Because Hiranyagarbha is Sukshma, Samashti Sukshma Shariram, and that has to come only after Prithvi. Yeah. Not bad. We've been able to have a discussion around Manaha, which is not Manaha, Buddhi, which is not Buddhi, and Ahankara, which is not Ahankara. So, a reasonably intelligent discussion. Yeah.
You brought us a long way, Jagmarji. You brought us a long way.
Yeah, it's good. So, yeah, we have come a long way. True. Very true.
Jaykumarji, can you bear with me? I want to clarify this, check with you. So Akasha is the cause for Vayu, Vayu is the cause for Analaha, Analaha is the cause for Apaha, Apaha is the cause for Bhumihi, and Bhumi is the cause for Manaha and Buddhi.
Yeah. So, in the Tattva Bodha, when we studied, Akasha is the cause for Shabda, sound. The tattva of sound is caused as an evolute of Akasha. Akasha Tattvam is the cause for sound. Okay. Then what? Vayuhu. Vayuhu is the cause for the sensation of touch. Okay. Now, touch needs Akasha, and therefore it needs the Akasha Tattvam, and it also needs the Vayu Tattvam. Correct? And then next Agni. Okay. Agni. Agni is the first Tattvam which has form, which has a form. I mean, at least the Sthula Agni has a form. And so that Agni, heat, it requires space, it requires Vayu, it is Agni. Agni has all three involved in it. Now, so what is it? Agni, if you look at the physical fire, it of course occupies space. You can see the fire in space, no doubt. And then what? You can even hear the sound of Agni. Burning sound is heard. And then you can see the fire, and heat is perceived. Heat is felt. So the first three are involved. So like this, you go water and then Prithvi. Okay. Then what is said in this model is that Sukshma Shariram, all the sattvic aspect. Okay, now I should mention this. There is Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And the Sattva aspect of Akasha is what becomes sound. I should have added that. So everything I said, you put Sattva in it. And the Sattva aspect of Vayu becomes the sense of touch. Sattva. So all the Sattvas combined, Sattva of Akasha, Sattva of Vayu, Sattva of everything combined becomes mind. That is a model. Therefore, mind is a product of all these things. And it can't be a cause of Akasha. Therefore, that word mind is not the mind that we talk about. Okay. So mind is what? What is mind? Mind is the combination of the Sattva of Akasha, Sattva of Vayu, Sattva of all the Panchabhutas combined is called the mind, or produces the mind. Then Rajas and then Tamas, all these things are there.
So Ahankara is the root for everything else.
In this Ahankara means Avyaktam.
Avyaktam.
Yeah, Avyaktam means unmanifest. You can even say Maya. Here I don't know if he means Maya because it's a root, Avyaktam. But here it's not Maya because everything is called Maya. And here it is a Sankhya's idea of Avyaktam. And in our classes, normally we don't talk elaborately about Sankhya because it leads to confusion. So Swamiji will never talk much about it. First you understand Vedanta. Then if you want, you can study Sankhya. That is what he would say. You're welcome to study, but I won't talk about Sankhya. Like that he would say. Because it's a model anyway. It's anyway some two intermediary steps. These are all intermediary steps between Akasha and Avyaktam, unmanifest. You can have even a few more, nothing wrong with that. Sankhya has these three. So in fact, I don't know what they mean by Mahat in Sankhya, and that has to be studied separately. Subtler than the subtle. That's what it is. So I think by mistake this lecture has become a satsang, and those people who normally leave after the lecture, they are forced to sit. I think, and I see Deepa and all still sitting. That's when I got this idea. Oh my God! So they are very shy. They don't want to leave also, and because if they leave now, I will be watching them. So it's nice to have Deepa in the satsang after a long time. Okay, what else? So Panchikaranam. So maybe what we should do is spend a little time. One class I'll spend on Panchikaranam. Because not everybody has studied Tattva and
Maybe you
Actually,
can have a blackboard and a chalk and demonstrate, because the visual, you need that visual kind of explanation to understand. Just listening to it will not help.
Sure. So I'll show you a schematic. Okay, how about that?
Yeah, that'll help.
So I'm not good at drawing schematic. I can draw with hand. I'm good at drawing with hand, but not using all this PowerPoint and putting all these blocks and put a rectangle and put its text in there. I can do it, but it will take a long time.
No, you just can draw it. Have a blackboard and.
No, I have a picture. I have a picture done by somebody else. I'm going to show you that.
Okay.
It's a nice picture. My classmate Ganapati ji had done it, and he's transcribed Swamiji's talk, Swami Paramathanandaji's talk on Tattva, and in that he has created that chart. So we can share that and discuss that. Will that help all of you? Panchikaranam. So from the Panchabhuta and then Sukshma to Stula, and then how did mind and then intellect, where does that come? And then all the physical body, how did that come? Like that, there is a beautiful model. We'll do that one of these classes, maybe next class. Yeah. Anything else?
Jaykumarji, so by putting the just this correct, Parinami Upadana and Vivarta Upadana, if I take into example of rope and snake, can you say this is correct? So my understanding is like putting together, rope does not transform into snake, but appears as snake. It is the ignorance of the rope that actually transforms into snake.
Correct. So your question is?
No, is that correct way of understanding, putting together both Upadana and Parinama and Vivarta, Upadana Karanam?
Therefore, the question is this. In the rope snake example, we have two objects, two things are there. One is rope, one is snake. Okay. But really speaking, there are no two things. Okay. There's only one thing there. So, but there are two things. What to do? There are two things. And what to do? There are two things. That is the problem there. And therefore, now what is Karanam? What is Karyam in this example? Is there a Karanam Karyam in this example? Prasad? Cause effect. Is the one cause is one effect? Can we say that?
That is the illusion here. That's the Maya. Yeah, the cause is the rope. We think that it is the ignorance. Yeah.
So rope is the Karanam, and snake is the Karyam, because snake is visible. Hey, we can't deny the snake. Snake is there. I see a snake. That's it. Period. Snake exists. Okay, but then rope became the snake without changing. Can we say that? Rope is the Vivarta Upadana Karanam for snake. Snake, the material for the snake is rope. Without rope, snake doesn't exist. So like the clay is the material for the pot. Rope is the material for the snake. Correct? Therefore, rope is Upadana Karanam. Is it Parinami Upadana Karanam? Did rope become the snake?
No.
Rope cannot become the snake because somebody else is seeing the rope. I'm seeing snake. Therefore, without becoming snake, rope appears as snake. Rope has become, quote unquote, become the snake. Vivarta Upadana Karanam. Rope is the Vivarta Upadana Karanam of snake. And whenever Vivartam comes, now the question becomes, projection is going to be there. Projection. Therefore, just like snake is a projection on the rope, correct?
Yeah.
If rope has not really become snake, but you say there is snake and you are adamant about it also, then what to do? We can't do anything. Suppose, the patient goes, the doctor says, really, there's nothing wrong. No, something's really wrong with me. And what the doctor will do, smart doctor, yeah, okay, take this medicine, it will be all right. And then the patient will take the medicine. Next day she'll come and say, yeah, I feel good. Because that medicine is important. The doctor's compassionate words are so important. That's what cures the person. So like that, person says there is snake. Okay, there is snake. All right, we'll take that. Then we say the snake is a projection on the rope. Projection means I project the snake on the rope because there is really no snake at all. Okay. Likewise, this Jagat, we say when Jagat is Brahma, did Brahma change to become Jagat? No, Brahma did not change. Just like rope did not change to become snake, Brahma did not change to become Jagat. And that Upadana Karanam is called what? Vivarta Upadana Karanam. Becoming something without changing. Therefore, the Jagat has to be my projection on Brahma. I project a changing world on Brahma. This is the thesis of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, correct? Mind-boggling, is it not? He's taking us to some territory that's just wanting us to know more, is it not? If it is a projection, then that means I have to know it. I have to know it. I can't simply keep quiet. I need to know more about that. Good question, Prasad. Good lead into this topic.
And the rope is the cause insofar as without the rope there is no snake.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct. See, either somebody says there is a snake, but the snake has to be explained. You simply can't say, no, there's no snake. You can't say that. That's not acceptable because the person who sees the snake as full of fear. You can't say there's no snake. Otherwise, there's very sweating, fear, and then the heart rate has gone up to 120 and all that. So without snake, how heart rate can go to 120? It can't. And so snake is there. So we accept. Yes, snake is there. First accept. Let's accept. Then calm down. Listen to me. Let's do some meditation. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, Ishvara, creation, Atma, projection, Adhyasa. Therefore, snake is an Adhyasa. What? Snake is an Adhyasa? Yes. Adhyasa means projection. Projection. You are projecting snake on the rope. Now, do you see the rope? Yes, I see the rope. You are that. You are Brahma. Tattvamasi Shvetaketo. Like that, the teaching goes.
Jai Kumarji.
Yeah.
How about imagination without the presence of some psychiatric conditions where, like schizophrenia, they hear the words, it's not there. See the things which is not there. Neither the rope nor the snake is there, but imagination. How do you explain?
So can we talk about it in the next class? I just noticed that time's up and I'm here and I rely on this dining hall for my breakfast and all that. If I go late, they will scream at me. Our cook is a very harsh fellow. What is it? Publicly, he will just harass me. I don't want that harassment after the Vedanta class. Okay? So if it's all right with you, Rameshji, can we?
Good night.
Please remind me. Good question. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dhanyawad, Guruji.